What is up, guys? It is Bucky and welcome to your ninth Objective-C tutorial. And in this tutorial I'm going to be talking to you guys about different types of data that you can store. I mean, we already learned how to store integers, which is great and all, but we want other forms of data too. And in this tutorial I'm also going to be talking to you guys about something called precedence, which is, well, you'll see later. And the last thing is about something called modulus. So let's just get right into it. So I already told you guys how to store an integer variable like int I equals 20. Good enough. But there are actually other types of data too. For one, we need a way to store numbers with decimal points. And this is called most commonly float. So if we put float, now you can store numbers with decimal points. And we'll just name this variable f and set it equal to like 31.37. So int is for whole numbers. They can be positive or negative, and floats are for numbers with decimal points. Simple enough. But there's one other type of data that we're not going to be dealing with a lot, but it's pretty much like a super float. It's like a float that can hold more data. But again, like I said, we don't really use it all that often. It's called a double. And it actually can hold twice as many significant digits as a float, which means if a float can hold like 10 numbers, a double can hold 20 numbers. That's your real quick tutorial on that. So a double, we'll just name this variable d, we'll set this equal to something like 9.32. And in order to, since this double can store huge numbers, I figure it would be a good time to tell you guys about exponents. Anytime you want to write an exponent like 10 to the 12th power, you put e, which stands for exponent, and then put plus 12. And don't forget that, remember from like scientific notation, you can put like 10 to the negative 8th power, and that's why you put plus 12 because it's positive 12th power. So now this is like 9.32, and move the decimal point over to the right 12 spaces. And you can also put negative and make it a really small number. But anyways, like I said, don't even worry about doubles for now. We use them very rarely. And the last type of data I want to talk to you guys about is something called a character variable. And put char c. And what this can hold is any single character, which is most commonly letters. Like, I'll store like B in this one. In order to do this, put two single quotation marks and put a character in there. So now whenever we use this variable, it's going to just hold that one character B. And you can also do cool things like store symbols like semicolons and stuff like that. But we won't get into that now. So let's go ahead and print all this out. ns log. Let me go ahead and make a template for this first. The add sign. And let's see, we got 4 right here. So here's a nice little shortcut. Copy. Oops, that's embarrassing. There, so let's see, IFEC, IF. I for integer, then %f for float. Then, and actually, the most common way to write a double in your print format is to put %e, and just remember exponent double, so that's how you can remember that. And also %c for character. So now let's go ahead and fill in the rest, and we can print this out and see if it works. I f, see what our variables names were, d c. So now let's go ahead and run this, and hopefully we didn't get any errors. Succeeded, very nice. And now you see our integer is 20, our float is this, and you see we have a little problem with rounding issues with our computer, but we'll get into that later. Our double is this right here, and our character B for Bucky right there. So that's how you store different types of data. So let's go ahead and delete this, and we can get into our other topic. The other topic I want to get into is precedence. So go ahead and make a variable called sum. Actually, this isn't even really a sum, it's just the answer, but I'll name it sum. And put something like 3 plus 2 times 4. And now if you're wondering, alright, 3 plus 2 is 5 times 4 is 20. But look at this, ns log at, and go ahead and put like %i. Wow, I really messed that up. at %i, and then go ahead and press sum. Now, what I need to talk to you now is the concept of precedence. And now you see, we get the answer of 11. And if you're wondering, all right, why did this happen? Well, if you ever took a math class in like 5th grade, you know the order, I think it's called the associative rule or something. But certain operations have precedence over another. It goes, the most important is parentheses, then exponents, then multiplication and division, and then adding and subtraction. So what this means is, whenever you have an equation, it's going to do everything that's in parentheses first, then it's going to take care of the exponents, then it takes care of multiplication and division. And see, since multiplication was first, it did this before it added 3. So why did it get 11 instead of 20? Because it said 4 times 2 is 8 first and foremost, and then we added 3. So if you remember from math class, the same rules of computer programming apply to an equation as you would write it in high school or college or whatever like that. So let's go ahead and delete this, and the last thing I need to go over with you guys is something called the modulus. Now, the modulus is just a fancy name for remainder. So go ahead and make a variable called m and put 38 modulus 7. That's the modulus operator, their percent sign. And what this means is, what is the remainder of 38 divided by 7? Well, if you divide 38 by 7, you get 35, or excuse me, 5, because 5 times 7 is 35, with a remainder of 3. So that remainder is what's going to be stored in the variable m. Don't believe me? Check it out. ns log x. And let's go ahead and input, what's it, %i and m. Don't forget your semicolons. And now build this baby, save all, and run it, and it says 3 right here. So if you're expecting a 5 or anything else, this isn't divide. Divide would give you 5 probably, or an error since we have a remainder. But 38 divided by 7 it divides 38 by 7. Doesn't care about the answer. Doesn't care that it's 5 point something. All it cares about is the remainder, and that's the value that it stores. So if you're wondering how do I get the remainder, this is how. So that's all the time I have for this tutorial. Again, not a lot of exciting stuff, but this is stuff that you need to know, because if you don't, you're going to be like, why the heck did that do that? And what the heck does this percent sign mean? So, not the best tutorial, but, essential nonetheless. So thank you guys for watching, and one other thing. Do you guys like seeing my face in the bottom right-hand corner? I'm going to put a poll on my blog, and you guys vote whether you want my face in the bottom right-hand corner or not. In the winner, you can either see my face or not see my face. So make sure to vote on whether you want it there or not, and that's what I'll be doing for the tutorials to come. So one last time, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.